Hey, good evening. It's Thursday night. It's Stacy B, and you know what time it is. It's the new Empowered Woman Show, and I'm your host, Stacy B. I'm going to wait until I see some folks jump in here with me. Hey, Vanessa, how are you? This is my second week on Instagram. Please like and please share if you're on Facebook. Not sure you can share on Instagram. But thank you for joining me, sis. We're going to have some good conversation. I'm not going to be before you long, but um, we're going to talk about closure. So we'll get right into it right after my brief intro on Facebook. Sorry, you guys can't see it. All right, and we're back. We're back on Facebook. Thank you, Vanessa. I tried, girl. I'm still hanging on to my corona hair. I have not been to the salon since March 17th. I've been hanging on and doing it myself, and we yet holding on. The unibrow is growing nicely. She's growing it nicely, but we're hanging in there. So we're going to figure it out. Thank you for joining me on Facebook. Remember, if you're on Facebook, remember to give StreamYard permission to show your name with your comments if you make a comment on tonight's show. Yes, the unibrow. Oh, yes. Oh my goodness. So what's going on, everybody? Before we jump in, I just want to just see how you ladies and gentlemen are doing. The world is about to open up. They've been opening up little by little, but I'm not open yet. Anybody else with me? I'm not open yet. I'm closed, and I'm not sure when I'm going to open because I'm still a little nervous. You know, the gyms are opening back up and businesses are opening, the malls are open. I had someone this week was at the mall and I was on the phone with them, and not all the stores are open in the mall. So it seems like the big ticket or hot stores are not quite open yet. So just those little boutique type stores like Francesca's, they're open. But, I don't think too many people are rushing, tearing down the doors, for little stores like that. But so I'm staying in. I'm okay. Vanessa, you're chilling. Okay, right, 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 right. The world will be there. And again, this week I have my nice little um, my friend here for when I have my little, I'm going to be real. I'm melting down. So, but so let's get into this. I wanted to talk about closure. Yeah, I wanted to talk about closure because, you know, we go through relationships, and it's not just romantic relationships, I don't think. I think it can be friendships, it could be family, but um, I'm thinking about this closure, and it really came to the forefront to me again yesterday. I have been in this closure mode for a few months now. I'm going to say probably about 4 or 5 months. I've been in this closure zone. So I said, I couldn't think of anything for tonight's show, but because of a brief conversation I had yesterday via text, it came back up in my mind today as I was trying to think of what to talk about tonight. And I said, well, let's just talk about closure. So I went to do a little bit of research and, wanted to talk about, what it is. Um, do we need it? Do we seek it? So let's just jump in, and I hope you'll talk back to me. Okay. Like I said, I won't be all night. Just want to give you some information of what I found about closure. So the definition of closure is getting an understanding as to exactly why a relationship ended and no longer feeling emotional attachment or pain associated with the relationship. It allows each person to establish new and healthy relationships. All right, so that's the textbook definition of closure. And like I just said, it doesn't always have to be a romantic relationship. Do you agree? It could be a friendship, maybe even as far as family. So let's jump into it. So we know that if we are still holding on to a relationship, we're still holding on something that has ended, that can hinder us from moving forward. Okay, if we keep revisiting and revisiting what happened, why didn't it work, and why don't they want this, and you know, we can go to the grave, going back and forth with this all the time if we don't have closure. So what what is this thing with closure? It took me a while to get there. Um, in my 52 years of life, um, in my 52 years of life, really, I've got more years behind me than I have ahead of me. And I think, uh, and maybe it's the quarantine, I don't know, that I've been getting these aha moments, that I'm finally getting things that, I wish I had gotten, some years before, but I'm getting it now. So that's all that matters, right? So I'm thinking about this. Um, okay, Vanessa. Okay. Wow. Yes, yes. Totally forgot about all of that. Okay. Yes. Vanessa says it could be even professional, ministerial. Now, that's a big one for us, Vanessa. You and I being ministers, we know all about that. Okay. And so this closure thing is really, that's really a hot topic because, like I said, we could spend a lot of time, years, months, going back and forth, wondering why didn't things work, or if it didn't work, why haven't they reached out to me? And I know I'm speaking for myself. Um, right, absolutely, Vanessa. Like I just said, maybe it's the quarantine that has put me in a space of um, giving closure. You know, giving closure to the person, face to face, or personally just giving it to them, and or even if they don't even know I gave them closure. Okay. So I have to stop beating myself up over it. Okay. So let's talk about it. All right. Because if we don't give closure, unlikely that the abuser is going to, or I won't say abuser, or um, the other party, it's kind of unlikely they're going to come to you for the closure. So sometimes we have to give it. Okay. And so I did some reading. And so I'm going to share what I found. The article I read, it said something about 5 things. Oh, thank you, honey. Thank you. I don't know how to do all this yet. So I don't know what to do to invite people. I don't know what to do to invite people on IG. And so I don't want to knock it off. So I'm not sure if I could do that. But thank you. Please like and please share on the Facebook if you're joining me on Facebook. Girl, you know me. I had to take baby steps. So, okay. So these 5 things that I found when I was doing my research on closure. So there were 5 things they said you can do to help you with closure. So one of those things is to cut contact. That seems like a no-brainer, but it is easier said than done. And again, I can use myself as the poster child for closure. Okay. But I'm proud of myself because, as I said, I have had a couple of opportunities during the quarantine to just say, Guess what? Nobody's going to die, and it's a win-win situation for me. It's a win. This closure thing is a win for me. And so if you are going to give closure, guess what? It's a win for you. Hey, all right. I see someone who is joining me. Purple Rose. Hey, Valerie. That's the Purple Rose. Hey. I see someone on Facebook. If you're joining me, please don't forget to give StreamYard permission to use your name if you have any questions or comments. Instagram, they just rolling over here. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Don't forget to share the broadcast. Please like and please share. So we're starting on the first bullet on closure. The first bullet is cut contact. And so we know this easier said than done when we're trying to have closure with anyone. And Vanessa gave some awesome examples that not just relational, not just relationship, it could be work related, professional, ministerial, it could be family. So how do we cut contact? That's easier said than done. We can't continue to text message. We can't continue to see things on Facebook. Social media is everywhere. All right. So what I have, again, I'm speaking for myself. I've had to go in, totally unfriend you, unfollow you. I don't want to see anything, you know, that will remind me of you. I don't want to see your activities. We can't continue to call. We can't continue to do anything that's just going to keep us tied. You know, this is to me likened to a stronghold, because if we keep reaching out, if we keep, oh, I just want to send something funny. No, no, that's just another method to keep you tied to the person when we just need to cut it off. There's no need, there's no need for contact whatsoever, right? This is the action that we have to take. All right, Val. Yeah, you have to cut it off completely. Sometimes it's the cold turkey, right? We just have to go cold turkey. Nothing. And what got me to this point was, like I said, it's a win-win. This closure for me, because I had to think about it and I was like, you know what? During all of this, I wasn't winning. Hey, Geraldine, thank you for joining me. I wasn't winning. So I'm telling you, when I did this closure thing, once I did it was one instance on one occasion when I did it. Once I did that, I had like the best release of tears. I mean, they weren't sad tears. It was like a refreshing because I couldn't believe I did it, number one. Okay. And then I was so proud of myself. So, this first step of closure is just cutting off the contact. We can't have any. All right. Any other comments? All right. Okay. My girl, she jumped on over here. All right. Vanessa says sometimes cold turkey is the only way. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for joining me. Please invite your friends on Instagram. We're talking about the topic of closure tonight. How important is closure to any type of relationship? We seek, sometimes we want, when we see something ending, we just want to keep going back, wondering, why didn't it work? Or why aren't you responding to me the way that I think you should? Okay. But when we find out that's not working, sometimes we just have to move on. Do you agree? Yeah. So once we have done the cutting of the contact, be it Facebook, unfriending them, unfollowing them. It's such a liberation. It's so liberating. Like, I can't believe I did it. And guess what? You're not going to die. All it is freeing you up, freeing you up, because we wasted so much time there. All right. So the next one is um, feel your emotions, right? Feel your emotions. Just lean in, lean into your emotions. I don't care if you have to cry, scream, cuss, whatever, however you're feeling, however this relationship is making you feel, you know. Okay, Vanessa, this is a great point. A great point. That's right. The moving on can be tough. Okay, let's show that comment. The moving on can be tough if we are connected spiritually, emotionally, or even some financially. Absolutely. That's why, and I can attest to that, Vanessa, of why it has taken me so long to get to the closure piece in my life. That's why it has taken me so long. Yeah, lean into your emotions. Cry, cuss, scream, whatever you have to do. Whatever you have to do. No emotion is wrong because, again, we are living human beings. We feel. God created us um, to feel. So this sadness and anger and fear, you know, to me, again, they're strongholds if we don't let them go, if we don't lean into them. Yes, I love that. I love that. Honoring your feelings is a sacred act of self care. What are you thinking out there, Instagram? Let's talk. Let's talk. You're quiet. I know you have something else to say. Yes, honoring your feelings is a sacred act of self care. Everybody's into the self care now. We've had time to get quiet. The world has settled down because of quarantine. And we've been talking about self care. So leaning into our feelings. Yeah, Vanessa, cry. I said it. Cry, cuss, and scream. Whatever you have to do. But be true to your feelings. Be true to how this whole situation has made you feel. You can talk to the mirror. If you choose to talk to someone, that's your choice. But this is, for you. This is for you. So get into your emotions because guess what? If we don't, these emotions, the regret, the anger, the sadness, the depression, it can be lethal. We know that, you know, people get sick and people have died because of depression. People have gotten sick because of depression. Our immune system responds to emotion, right? Our immune systems respond. I'll be transparent. I have lupus. Any amount of stress, loopy will shut me right down. Any amount of stress. So holding on to what I wanted or what I wish or whatever, holding on to that stuff and knowing that nothing was ever going to become of it was literally killing me. And we all know an example of people, or maybe even yourselves, of when emotions have crippled us in some way. All right, Purple Rose. Some stay connected because they don't want to deal with the emotions. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh my goodness. They don't want to deal with the loneliness. But I know for a fact it was so worth honoring me. That's so good, Val. Some don't want to be alone and stay in situations because they don't like themselves. Wow. Wow. When you think about that. What do you think about that? And I know I have stayed in some situations because I didn't want to be alone, because I was lonely, you know? Yeah, do I wish I had, a relationship? Absolutely. It's just been me and Rona for the last 4 months, okay? Me and Rona, you know. But hey, I've had a chance to be, you creatives out there. I've had a chance to be creative. I've had a chance to lean into my feelings. I've had a chance to do some closure that I never thought I would be able to do, ever. Never thought I'd be able to do it. So that was a win for me. All right. So we are cutting contact. We are feeling our emotions for this closure. Okay. And I've always heard about this closure. We got to get closure. We got to get closure. But now it's really real to me. It's really real to me. All right. So the third one. This is a big one. This is, we all need this, and that's forgive. All right. So we all heard that forgiveness is more for us than the other person, right? It takes a load up off of us. It takes that burden off us. I had to come to the point where I'm like, you know what? You know what? I really didn't. You weren't the best one for me. You know, you really weren't. And so, no hard feelings, not mad, but I had to realize I got tired of people just not treating me nicely. You know, I got tired of people treating me like that, and I'm like, no, you don't get to treat me like that anymore. So, cut you off. Bye bye. All right. Purple Rose says we have to get to the root of the resistance. That's good, Purple Rose. That's really good. We have to get to the root of the resistance. Hmm. I kind of want to stay there for a second. Get to the root of the resistance. Why? What's holding us back from moving forward with the closure? What's holding us back? Are we afraid? Are we afraid that we won't ever, when we say we don't want contact, but do we really still want the contact? That we afraid of really letting go. Like, if I do this, this really means that I will not have any more. Really, I really won't have any more contact with this person. Right. Why are we woo, tongue twister. Why are we resisting moving on? Yeah, that could be a plethora of things. Oh my goodness. Yeah, this is good. Why are we resisting? Fear is the biggest culprit. Yeah, and a few moments ago I was saying those emotions that we lean into, they can become a stronghold that we can't get free from. That fear can hold us, and it grips us. And so, it takes work. And I find, you may have your own way of working through fear, anger, your emotions. But I know for me, I had to stay in prayer, constant, constant prayer. Because as I said at the top of the show, um, I have been holding on for years, afraid of closure, or afraid of letting go. So Yeah, that fear can be a stronghold. Vanessa said the fear of, we are afraid of the unknown. Like, once I do this, what's going to happen? And sometimes you never, and we want the other party to reach back. And sometimes that other party will not reach back. So that's why I said you have to do this closure for you. It has to be for you. The forgiveness has to be for you. Let go of that weight of unforgiveness, the burden. Okay. It's toxic as well. Unforgiveness is toxic. We've all had stories that we've heard. All right. Someone else has joined us. Thank you for joining us. Something by Net. Thank you for joining us. We're talking about closure tonight. Something by Net. That's what we're talking about tonight. The dangers of not having closure, and then some ways that can facilitate that closure. We talked about cutting off all contact, be it calls, texts, social media, shut all of that down. Then we talked about leaning into our emotions, that our feelings are valid. Nothing is wrong with that. Whatever we have to do to push through that, no wrong answers here. Okay, this is us. This is our lives, and we've got to do whatever it takes to get through. All right. All right. So we've gotten through the forgiveness piece. It's vital that we forgive. It's not easy, but it's vital. All right. So number 4 was to write it down. Now I've been a journaler. Vanessa, I'm getting ready to say your word. You know what I'm going to say. I'll let you say it. I, I, I've been journaling since I was 16. And I've been writing. I've been writing and writing and writing since I was 16. So writing down is not a problem for me at all. As a matter of fact, I prefer to write. So writing down what you wish to say to that other party, writing it down is freeing as well. Everything you want to say, no holds barred. Again, no wrong answers. Writing it down gives you an opportunity to purge everything that you're feeling, every emotion. You can say whatever, okay? Especially when you no longer have access to the person, okay? When you no longer have access to them, this is how you need to have closure. Write it out. All right? Some things you wouldn't otherwise say to that person, because sometimes you could say you're having closure and you say some things, but you may be holding back a little bit. But if you write down, honey, you give that paper everything. You lay it out. You lay it on that paper. The paper, the pen, lay it all out. The paper can take it. The paper can take it. Hello, mother. Thank you for joining me again. Thank you. Very informative. Great message. Thank you so much. I'm going to help you get your picture up there, Miss Ann. Yes, we got to write it out. Write it out. Okay. And this is good for forgiveness too. I've had to do this as well. Writing things down. Just write everything out. Again, especially if you don't have access to that person. The person may be deceased, um, or for some other reason that you don't have access. But writing is good. It helps you purge it out. Thank you for everyone who's joining us tonight. Thank you so much. And number 5, and lastly, apologize. Okay. Was the reason for the disconnection or the breakdown of the relationship, whatever that relationship was, is the breakdown partly our fault? Did we have a part to play in this? Did we have a part to play? Is it something that we need to apologize for our actions? And we have to forgive ourselves as well. So, apologies are in order because if we have done something, if we have played a part in this, um, it's impossible to have closure or to move on if we're living with shame of any type. If we're ashamed of something we've done, if we played a part in someone else's hurt, and I'm a witness to that too. Shame will keep you bound. Definitely keep you bound. Absolutely. Yes, Vanessa, thank you so much, honey. Thank you. So, if we're ashamed of something that we've done and we're holding on to that, that has to, that has to, I guess, if we're holding on to something that we're ashamed of, that has to go through closure as well. And again, I'm a living witness to that. I've lived with shame because of things that I have done, that I thought I would never be free from. And once, I had to process and give myself closure, apologize, and forgive myself, then I became more liberated. Okay. And again, if you don't have access to the person, you write it out. You write it out. Yes, Vanessa. Very, very, very powerful. When we want to hold on to things, um, when we want to hold on to things and we don't want to see past the offense, and an apology comes, I'll speak for me, that'll break you straight down. That'll break you right down. So, that's just um, another nugget on how we can deal with closure. Thank you so much. I see other people joining me. Don't forget, if you have a comment or question, don't forget to give StreamYard permission so I can see your name for your question or comment during the show. So, this is what New Empowered Woman, this is what we do. We want to empower you. I want to empower myself, um, to live better lives, to go forward and closure. Be empowered to go after that closure that's going to free you to move forward to better relationships, whatever they may be. You know, um, I know, the closure, Vanessa. I know the closure for spiritual closure. You know, that was very recent for me, right? And I wanted another outcome. I just wanted that outcome, and I just kept holding on. I kept holding on to it until I had to come to the point where, you know what? It is well with my soul. And I just this just must be the season for closure for me. And it's okay. It is okay. Seeing a brand new Stacy. And I still have work to do. Just because you grab closure doesn't mean that, for you, all the work is done. But I know I've reached a milestone for me. Okay. And what does closure mean for you? You know, What have you gained when you have um, given closure to a situation? What have you gained? What type of freedom have you gained? What has it done for you? Yes, ma'am. Miss Ann says, you remember to love yourself. Absolutely. And that helps bring you to closure, I think. Once you start getting a better sense of yourself, it helps you reach that point to say, you know what, I don't need this. Let me just work through and let me put the lid on this. Let me put some closure on it. And like Vanessa said, it's not always easy for closure because of the attachment. And again, we are we're spirit beings and we get attached. Okay, those emotional attachments, those spiritual attachments are powerful, and I think people don't give it enough credence. They don't give it the the attention that it needs. They don't take it as seriously as it is. That when things get attached to our spirits, it's not easy. And so we've got to do the work, no matter how long that it takes. We've got to do the work. And if we stay true to that, it will come to pass. It will. It will. You'll be able to take those steps you need for that closure. All right. All right. Anybody else going to talk to me tonight? Because I can shut it down. This has been a great discussion. This has been great. Every time I think I won't have anything to talk about, every time I think I'm not going to come on here on a Thursday night, it's always so wonderful. Hi, Miss Sheila. Thank you for joining. Miss Sheila says forgiveness is necessary for processing. And Miss Sheila is going to be a guest on New Empowered Woman one of these Thursday nights. Yes, she is. She's got a powerful story. My. She has a powerful story that you are going to want to hear. But yes, ma'am, forgiveness is necessary for processing. Woo! Talk about that one. See, you wait. All right, Vanessa, talk about that. Don't self betray. You hear that out there, Instagram? Don't self betray. Whew, that was heavy. Yeah. You see how I'm looking at that comment? I don't know what to say. That was good. Don't self betray. We do that. We do that. Can you go a little deeper in that, Vanessa? I wish there was a way I could brought you on the screen, but that's a good one. I would like to talk a little more about that. Thanks, Miss Sheila. Don't betray yourself. Don't turn on yourself. You know, you promised to protect yourself. You promised to love yourself, to give yourself only the best. And then we turn around and do the opposite. That's so good. So, Miss Sheila, can you talk a little bit more about the? All right, there you go. You're ahead of me. Miss Sheila says, you must be able to forgive yourself. It's very important to healing. Yeah, because if we're always beating ourselves up over it, is that a form of trauma? We're taking ourselves through trauma with this. So we've got to forgive ourselves. And I've heard other theories on the we've got to forgive ourselves. And that may be another topic. But yeah, we've got to be able to do that. And Vanessa says, okay, on the self betray, we treat others better than ourselves. Okay. We're treating others better than we treat ourselves. Okay. If we hold our relationship with ourselves in the same high regard as we do others, we will not betray ourselves. Now that's a good one. And that's worthy, I think, to put up somewhere so we can see that every day. Don't self betray. Mm. And that's that self esteem. You think? Would you agree with that? How we see ourselves? Yeah. Start your self love journey today. Yes, indeed. I like that. I love it. I love it. Yeah. So this has been such a wonderful discussion uh, on on closure. Who knew? This has been an awesome discussion, and the things that we can do to help facilitate that um, is awesome. So it's the cutting away of the contact, just straight cut the contact, and that may take some time, and that's okay. On all social media, calls, texts, in-person visits, we don't need to do that because that just keeps us holding on, and it just makes it harder and harder. Okay. Then we said to lean into our emotions. We've got to feel what we feel and not apologize for it at all. Next, we've had to forgive. Forgiveness is for us and not the other party. It takes the burden off of us. Next, write it out. Write it to free yourself. It's liberating, it's freeing, especially if we don't have contact or access to that person any longer. Write it out. And number 5, to apologize. Apologize if we had any part to play in it, because we can't have closure if we are walking around with shame, if we're ashamed. All right. She said we need a part 2. I think we do, right? Yeah. Okay. All right. So you said yes, it is related to self esteem. I would know. Low self esteem uh, has been a part of my life for a long, 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 long time. You know, and I still have to work at that. I still have to work at it. Still have to work at it. But like I said, with my closure experiences, that was a win for me. That was a big win for me. Miss Sheila says many people go through life living in shame and hurt for those things that they forgive others for, but neglect their own spirit, which prevents healing. Yeah. Well, Miss Sheila is speaking uh, from her expertise, and she's going to share with us one of these Thursdays, right? Right, Miss Sheila? One of these Thursdays. All right, Vanessa, you said, yeah, I put that back up there. We need a part 2. All right. I will work on that. I will definitely work on that. But this has been a great discussion. And I'm so happy that you joined us on Facebook Live here on StreamYard. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for joining me on Instagram. This is fun on Instagram. I'm loving it. Yes. So thank you again for joining me. If you have any suggestions for topics, or if you want to be a guest on the New Empowered Woman Show, please email me at newempowered, the number one, at gmail.com. Again, you see the banner, New Empowered, the number one, at gmail.com. All right. So that's going to wrap it up for me tonight. So happy that I decided to come on and chat with you this evening. It's been awesome. As always, thank you for your valuable comments, your rich input tonight. It was awesome. If you're watching the replay, please don't forget to do hashtag replay. I was so blessed by the comments from last week's show. For those of you who came back to watch the replay, I was so happy and blessed. So thank you for your support as always. And until next week, if the Lord wills, this is Stacy B, your host from the New Empowered Woman Show, where the new is all about you. I will see you next week. All right.